Good NFL playoff games this weekend, huh?
The best.
The best, man, right? Weren't they good?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we won't tell you who won. You better watch the reviews yourself. This isn't ESPN. This is a reality check. So today, when it's bitter, nasty cold in places like Chicago where it's 12, and New York where it's 17, and LA where it's 67, I mean, there's some bitter cold shit going on right now. So I thought it would be the perfect way to start your second Monday in January with traveling. Because traveling is something that I feel is one of the greatest things in the entire world. You give me somebody younger than me who's unencumbered, has no children, no white picket fence disease, no cars, no job, they can work from anywhere in the world, no girlfriend to nag and to drive them nuts. My advice always is, young man, do what I would do if I was unencumbered. I would fucking live everywhere in the world. There's no reason to pick a place to live. Why do you want to pick a place to live? Are you really looking for the white picket fence right now? You know, do you really want to settle down? I mean, you're 27, 28, 30, 31, 35, 40. Really, do you need to settle down? Is it that important? What does settling down really sound like? I'm settling. That's a bad word, right? It's like, hey, I want the tuna sushi. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have it tonight. We only have like 3-day-old salmon. Oh, I'll settle for that. You know, it's like, God, I really love tall blondes with great bodies. Oh, no, we just have the overweight girl in the corner. Oh, I'll take her because I haven't had sex in a while, so I have no problem with that. People settle. Why would you even settle? And I got nothing against overweight people, okay, at all. This is not, don't fucking harp on my words, okay? Oh my God, I'm never listening to this podcast ever again. He talked about overweight. No, everybody's got a body type they like. Somebody who's overweight will look at somebody else overweight and go, my God, I love your curves. Settling is ridiculous. So a couple of years ago, Obi came to me, and he was living in this place in Venice, where I came to his house in Venice. He had like a bed on the floor, I think. It was like settling into his existence in Venice, right? Remember that place? It's a great place.
Oh, off of Rose?
Yeah, I like that place.
Yeah.
Great neighborhood. He was so excited. He had this great neighborhood, and he was so happy. And you got your stuff out of storage. It only took like 17 tries, right? Finally got the key and all that other weird stuff. That was the strangest day ever. Ever. But I remember you looking, going, you know, I just kind of don't feel like there's enough. You know, like it was almost like you had a moment of like, is this all there really is to life? I'm going to fucking live in Venice and be Mr. Californication for the next 30 years, right? And eventually settle down. I hate that word, settling. I'm going to settle. I'm going to settle. I'm going to settle for something I don't want. What, those pants aren't my size? I'll settle. I'll wear them. They're too tight. It's too big. It looks like a lot of guys wear those pants, man. Diaper jeans. But you made the move, and you've been all over the place.
Yeah.
What have you learned the most from not settling and actually traveling?
I don't know. I learned the most. I think you learn a lot about yourself when you're in different situations, when you're outside of the normal routine. Like when you get out of the everyday, the stuff that you do every day, and you have to kind of like force yourself to kind of build a routine in a new place, I think you really discover what your values are and like the things that are really most important. And the things that really light you up. I mean, I've been to certain places that I feel almost I have like some kind of soul connection to. Like I go there and I'm just like, I'm like opened up or on fire, and I don't feel those in every other place. And you kind of see yourself a little bit more. I think for me personally, traveling is like meditation in a sense. It's like when I'm in those places, the thoughts go away, and you're super present. And for me, that's really the most important part, I think.
So you're able to turn the brain off.
Yeah, because you don't have all the stuff that kind of keeps you occupied or busy or numb, and then you're just there. If you don't know how to ask for where the bathroom is, all of a sudden that makes you super present, right? Like you've got to go, and you're in a different language, and you're speaking a different language. You're there. You're in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that happen where you're like, oh shit, and you're just brought to the moment. And I feel like traveling does that for me more than a lot of things.
You know, there's the International Wiener Dance. right? Where you just grab the edge of your pants and just dance back and forth, right? You smile on your face like this and you dance back and forth. You got to picture it, okay? And you dance back and forth and then you shake it a little bit. Don't shake it because it looks like that's the international masturbation dance. But you're right about that. Just it forces you out of your comfort zone. You're not going to spend the day on your phone staring at it at Air One because you're in the settling zone of life. You're actually forced to learn a new language. You're forced to navigate. You're forced to either be alone in your hotel or Airbnb or meet people. It's like, you're not just sitting there in your house. You don't really want to sit and swipe right in a hotel room.
Don't sit in your house. Like, I don't know. I mean, you don't travel to a place that you're not interested in. And so you're going to a place and you land and it smells different and there's different sounds happening. And all of a sudden you're just like, I feel like you're like a kid and like your brain's like just like on fire. And you're like, I like walk around and I'm just like, my eyes are wide. And I'm just like, oh shit. And then I always have this moment where I'm like, I'm in Japan, or
Yes.
I'm in Budapest, or I'm in Colombia. Like, I say that to myself, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm here, which is really interesting when you think about it. I say I'm here. I don't think I say that every day. Like when I'm just in Los Angeles or in a place that I'm used to, I don't say, oh, I'm here, which is the same thing though, right? It's essentially the same concept. Like you should be like, whoa, I'm here. But I do that when I'm traveling, and I think that's kind of what I call like a meditation.
It's so true. I remember like sometimes I'll go to London, and I'll land. And London's always been like a second home, and I'll like get there like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I slept as best as I could, right? Lying flat, and I'm just like, fuck. I mean, I'll stay up till 10 o'clock at night, even though I'm like, you're loopy, you're jet lagged. And I'll be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. And you wake up the next day and you're here. And the jet lag never hits me till I settle in to get home. Like, remember when you came back? The great story. Okay. Like that. Obi got back from like, where you were for a couple of weeks and you were fucked up. Remember?
Yeah.
You were jet lagged like beyond
For like a week.
for like a week. But like when you went away, you were like happy as can be. There's no jet lag. When you go somewhere, you're like, fuck jet lag, man. I'm just going to drink a lot of water, and I'm going to be fine because I'm here, and you're stimulated. And you get back home and you feel like you've been run over by a train.
Yeah, I think it was London.
Yes, it was London.
It was London. It was over the summer.
You missed that great date.
Yeah. That was a weird one. Trying to settle back in.
Settle back in. What about you, Mike? You have the opportunity now. You live, you work for yourself. You're crafting this life. You get off on the day-to-day adventure. I mean, today was like a different. Air One was like a new place for you. Me, it's like the same place all the time. I mean, yeah, there's great-looking women. There's fun people watching in there. The food's fucking unreal, and you know what food's going to cost in the year 2040 when you buy food there. So you just know what inflation. But you were like a little kid in the candy store. You have an opportunity to also create your own life and not settle. So you are lit up today when you were talking to some women and they're saying, hey, I'm going to Barcelona and I'm doing this and I might live in LA and I might do this. It's like, think about like if you can plan your perfect year, what would it be? Because that's the opportunity you have right now. Where do you want to go? What do you want to explore?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where, but same thing like Obi said is it's just that thrill of going somewhere that's completely unfamiliar and brand new. I've had the opportunity to live in a lot of places around the country and travel out of the country and kind of have a digital nomad lifestyle and work while I'm abroad. And, it's incredible. There's nothing more freeing than having everything you own in a suitcase. You talk about responsibilities and because that's another thing, you're talking about settling. Well, settling also means a lot more responsibilities typically, right? Whether it's a mortgage or it's a wife or a husband or, kids or whatever it may be. And that's all good, and fine. But like you're saying, while you have the opportunity, to get on a plane and just completely experience something new. I mean, and to answer your question right now, my heart has been continually pointing me in the direction of South America. And it's like I feel like I keep meeting people that, including now, with Obi. And Alex and some of these other people, and this has not just been recently, but pointing me towards South America, and it's kind of like, well, when you keep hearing these great things, you kind of just got to follow your intuition and follow, what you think is right. And for me, I'd love to learn another language and date a girl that has a completely different background, and somebody that I can learn from and grow from, somebody that, you know what I mean? I mean, because I feel like you learn more from people that have a completely different culture and lifestyle, because the music's different, the food's different, the social interactions are different. Everything's different than what it is here in the U.S.
Yeah. Date someone who doesn't speak English. Yeah. That was a fun thing. I remember going on my first date in a different language. That was a whole experience.
Would you draw stick figures?
No, I mean, I talked to her as best as I could. I was speaking in Spanish. I'm cool now. I'm like conversational now, but at the time, I was still
Ebonic.
But she got it, and we were able to communicate. I remember going home and thinking like, damn, I was able to go on a date in different language. Like, it was like a cool accomplishment.
Yeah. They moan in the same language all throughout the world. Oohs and ahs are always the same, except it's hoy dias mío when they're coming in, in Spanish. And, so it's a lot.
I like being called papi now.
They do.
I tell girls that I go on dates with on here in LA, I'm like, just call me papi.
If you could put on a little accent too.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, it's funny though. I remember the first time I went to Colombia and we went out with these girls, and my translator friend, such a cool guy, right? His name was Big Daddy Latin Mail at hotmail.com. That's what he called himself, Latin Mail. And he goes, "You got to buy her a gift." And I go, "Oh, a gift?" I go, "What is this, fucking Beverly Hills?" And he starts laughing, right? He goes, "No," he goes, "Take her shopping." I said, "Ugh, I avoid these women like the plague in LA. I don't want a gold digger," right? He says, "Dude," he goes, "look at the prices in this clothing store. Buy her a top." And it was like $6.99, right? He goes, "You buy her a top, she's going to go home with you all night long and take care of you, because that's what men do. They buy women presents." He says, "Buy her a pair of jeans and a top." He goes, "You're still in for under $20. She doesn't even want food." And I look at her and I look at him and I go, I point, I go, "Do you want to go shopping?" She goes, "Oh, shopping. Yeah. And like, she tried it on, and he looks at me and he says to me, he goes, "Do you see? She's trying it on. Now, call her sexy, right?" So whatever the word sexy was in Spanish, I told her that, right? Sexy, right? Yeah, sexy. Yeah, I don't remember. And I remember like, she was so turned on putting on the fashion show for me. Yeah. And I ended up buying her like 3 pairs of jeans. I was just like, fucking it, like $10 a piece. It was like $40 for the whole date. I was like happy. And we went back and, we fooled around, and, she goes, the next day she made something for me. She came over with food, right? She came over with a basket of food, and we went to the beach and we had this picnic, and it was like nothing. I mean, like, I was like king, and it's beautiful to learn. And I think one of the greatest things is to learn how other cultures treat you, how a woman treats you in another culture, because a lot of people are always trashing American women. We were talking about that earlier today. American women, they don't make us food anymore. They don't do this. It's like, American women are known as the ball busting community, not all at all, I mean, we're not generalizing, but a lot of modern women like to just bust guys' balls, and there's a lot of great modern women too, but women have learned in this country how to be so, I take care of myself, I don't need a man, right? So it's almost like you're in these relationships with women, and the male and the female roles are just so blended in together. So you said it today. What'd you tell me? Who does the cooking, you or them?
I've cooked more meals for women, I would say probably 10 times as many than have been cooked for me.
What about you?
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I also like to cook.
You're also a better cook than that.
I'm also better than most of them. Yeah, so I think there's that too. But I do appreciate it when she does. I kind of feel like I'm being taken care of, I think that makes it special.
I think it's interesting, and I think that's what traveling does. And I think the reality is, instead of bitching and complaining about where you're at, take a look at where you could be. Craft your life however you want it to be. Make your life special. Make your life different. Don't settle. if you're going to settle, you might as well just realize you're a settler. You know, and this country is full of settlers, you know. I mean, if you think about it, people have settled this, you know, America was settled in 1692, right? Whatever the whole fucking story is. And people came across from Europe and they settled into neighborhoods. And, you know, if you're that person, then great. You know, if you're the person that wants to live down the street from your parents and, you know, literally repeat your childhood and give your children the same childhood you gave, go for it. You know, I'd rather put a gun to my head and shoot myself. But that's just me. You know, and I'm not making fun of your lifestyle. That's your life. But before you settle into your life, have some adventures because you'll actually grow. And that's the reality today. So do me a favor, take this podcast and travel it all over the internet and share it because that's what I want. I want to see it fly through the internet. I'd like to see this podcast go to Colombia right now because there are two guys that are going to head down there pretty soon and they're both single and fun. Thanks for the guests.